Yes, hello, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Focal Point. Here on Focal Point, we do justice to trending issues relating to politics, relating to economy, health, sports, you just name whatever field. We do justice to trending issues. Today on Focal Point, I will be having somebody that is from Kogi State. Um, is from Okene, Kogi State precisely. Is engineer Ahmed Ogrima Saidu. He's an award-winning writer. He's an engineer with several years of experience in project management and management consultancy, spanning fields of energy, gas, and telecoms. He's a policy analyst and public affairs commentator. Engineer Ogrima is a member of the consulting team on National Integrated Power Project and the National Communications Commission, NCC. I'll be bringing Engineer Ogrima on. Engineer Ogrima, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Charles. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to Focal Point.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Focal Point. This evening, we'll be talking about stimulating the Kogi economy and growing its IGR. Kogi is our state, and our prayer and our wishes is to see that it succeeds and it prospers in the Committee of States. And so that's why from the beginning of Focal Point, I have been hammering on the economy and the IGR of Kogi State, because when we get it right in the economy and we have a good IGR, Kogi State will be further developed than what we have right now. And so we are going to be discussing on stimulating the economy of Kogi State and growing its IGR this evening. Now, the Kogi State IGR dropped from about 3 billion to 1 billion in August. It's such a very worrying trend. This may be attributed to the global pandemic that has ravaged the whole world and slowed down businesses. However, in the face of numerous natural, mineral, and human resources, we feel that we can do more to shove up our IGR and to better our economy. Engineer Ogrima Saidu, I have some few questions for you here this evening. Are you ready for us?
Okay.
Okay, before we take on any question, let me leave commercials for now. I will ask the first question, Engineer Ogrima Saidu. In what areas does the current IGR need stimulation? Kogi State internally generated revenue. In what area do you think it needs stimulation?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me, viewers at home and online. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss about the issues concerning our DSP.
Pleasure.
I also want to thank you, especially Mr. Charles, for creating this platform for all the guys to come together and discuss about the common issues affecting us.
Yes, sir.
Of course, previously our discussions has always been around politics. Highly political, and in nature, and I think that is the only subject that we should put on the table, on the front burner. There are several issues that, of course, we should actually come together and look into. For example, education, our economy, sports, and so on. So I really commend your effort for bringing this a very bright.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. So looking at revenue from the viewpoint of business and income, revenue is looked at as income derived from business ventures. That is, it could be entrepreneurship, it could be ventures, and that is business endeavors of humans, as we know it. And I want to also look at the IGR that we are about to talk about, the internally generated revenue, which is actually revenue that is we generate internally, apart from what we get from the federal allocations. Just as you mentioned, there have been a little bit of a downscale in revenue issues, partly because of maybe the situation we found ourselves, the plunge in oil prices, and also because I think personally we've not taken the issue of IGR very seriously because of our reliance on the oil revenue.
Crude oil.
You know,
Yeah.
like most states are maybe sure that at the end of the month, the revenue from Abuja will come. And there have been a long time of neglect to look at revenue downstreams of various states to really harness what you can harness or participate in areas you can participate. I want to kind of recap a quote from the former chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Omogui Ifeko Okaru, who says that there's no state in Nigeria that's not actually viable. But the missing gap has always been neglect, lack of political will, and innovative ideas. So this kind of forum will bring a lot of people together. Like the people I've seen in your platform who have made very wonderful ideas, which I believe if government looks into it critically, they can harvest a lot of products, ripe ideas that can quickly be implemented either as quick wins or as things that will have maybe a forecast in the long run. So as time goes on, we hope that we'll be able to interact like this and bring up the ideas that will benefit our state. That will be a good distraction from the usual steamy political talk we have online. So thank you very much for this initiative.
Thank you, Mr. Ogrima. Let's go for a commercial. We'll be back. Please just stay there. Stay there, please. We'll be back. Hello, Engineer Ogrima. Are you there?
Yes, I'm with you. Hello, Mr. Charles. Yeah, I'm on.
Hello, Engineer Ogrima. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Mr. Charles. Hello. Hello.
Engineer Ogrima, are you there, please?
Yeah, yes, I'm here, Mr. Charles. You can hear me?
We seem to be having some technical difficulty from the hand of Engineer Ogrima. Let me check again if he's back online. Hello, Engineer Ogrima, are you there, please? Hello, Engineer Ogrima.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, sorry, perhaps it's the weather that there is rain here, and so perhaps it's what is affecting the weather. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
The next question is what sort of stimulation would you recommend to the government of Kogi State, and why would you recommend this method of stimulation?
Okay. Thank you very much. Just as we have earlier looked at revenue and tried to look at it from the perspective of entrepreneurship, first and foremost, we have to really identify the revenue streams that we have before we can really begin to itemize the stimulations that we can really initialize to bettering our IGR, because revenue and the internally generated revenue, they are predicated on entrepreneurship. It could be transactional in nature, it could be service based. We have to really look down look into what we have in the state. And everybody knows that Kogi is one of the most endowed states in terms of material resources, in terms of human resources. We have a lot going for us. And personally, I have always looked at Kogi State as an economy that can actually be based on four areas. And one of them, like we all know, is mining and agriculture. That is the extractive industry taken together. Kogi have vast uh, acres of arable land, particularly in Kogi West, like we know from your area, and also from Kogi East. And we have a lot of products that are very marketable. Like, of course, it is known that we are the highest producers of cassava in Nigeria, and also cashew. We are doing very well in cashew. We could expand all this to begin to have a lot of thriving ventures that can begin to generate the base for revenue, because you can't talk about revenue without entrepreneurship, which also has a direct correlation with the gross domestic product of a state. Because if you look at the revenue profile of most states in Nigeria, you always see that Lagos is always coming first. Then states like Anambra is always doing well because there's a lot of ventures. They're private, micro, small, medium, and so on. So if you have clusters of these in the state, you can harness a lot from all this. Another sector that I see that is very viable is tourism. We can actually base our economy on tourism as another plank apart from agriculture and mining. Of course, before I forget, of course, Kogi State is well endowed with natural minerals. I think there are about 29 of them in commercial quantities. The popular ones that we know, like iron ore, coal, limestone, Vespa, bauxite, Lodomite, even gold is in Kogi State in commercial quantities. So we should be able to, though mining is seen as an area that is on the exclusive list.
Exclusive,
Uh,
yeah.
yes, licensing comes from the federal government, but we can prepare ourselves, just like Mr. Tokumbo said yesterday, that we have to begin to now evolve the skill set that will enable us to enter into that industry and the players, just like what we have in the Niger Delta, that in the oil producing areas. Of course, you will have mining servicing companies that are usually small in nature. They have contract companies, and you also have the trained staff, the skilled staff. So we need to evolve that, and we also need to develop a situation where we grow these companies, where government support them, because it is only when they are in business that you can now talk of collecting tax from them. So another area that I see, so tourism is a quick win for Kogi State. We can quickly do a lot. I'm aware that the government is actually into partnership with some organizations to help develop tourism. But the way I see tourism, tourism is a city business. It's a quick win. We can easily deploy one or two things, and tourism will happen in Kogi State. It all has to do with the branding and advertising. If we market it very well, we must not necessarily go global. We can start from country-wise. For example, if we get off some of these buses, like these Volvo buses, these Marco Polo buses, and we
Okay.
brand them, we maybe choose some early schools in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Kano. We tell them, come and spend your vacation in Lokoja and come and see firsthand the history of your country. Because almost more than 60% of the history of Nigeria is domesticated in Lokoja. You have about 20 tourism sites and have about more than 10 hotels, that can make a tourism viable in Kogi State.
World class.
Hello? Yes, what? Of course, of course. So if we do all this, we can quickly do all this and boost the revenue profile of the state. Why the investors come in later on as maybe a long haul forecasting as far as revenue is concerned. I also see us as a transport hub and the marketing hub in Kogi State. Just like the concept of Dubai. There used to be an oil kind of dependent country, just like we have the other clusters of countries in the Arab League. But because of their location, the advantage location, they decided to say, okay, let us create a cargo hub, a transport hub. You don't need to go to Asia to get your goods. You can just make a step over in Dubai. We won't charge you, we won't task you. But of course, they have it at the back of their mind that if you come to Dubai, you're going to spend 2 days.
Spend your money. Yeah.
You're going to pay your money. You're going to lodge in a hotel. You're going to eat. You're going to move around. So you spend a lot of money in Dubai. You can capture the same thing in Kogi State. Kogi is located right in the center of Nigeria. You can access any part of the country from Kogi State. So we can have a transport hub here, making use of the transport terminal that is in existence. Of course, for one reason or the other, maybe most governments take maybe a cursory look at what their predecessors have done. But I believe if His Excellency looks into the transport terminal that we have in Kogi State, it may expand the scope, so that vehicles, for example, moving goods from Kano to Port Harcourt, can make a stopover in Lokoja. If they spend 1 or 2 nights, they spend money in Lokoja. We don't need to charge them. We'll give them a lot of, maybe if we have to charge them maybe for parking space, very low price, but if they have a decent treatment, of course, Lokoja is a very good place.
Hospitable place.
Yes. So I also see us as attaching a marketing hub to what we already have. We can have warehouses. We can have depots, so that if there's movement of goods, companies, maybe the ones in Lagos, the ones in Kano, the branded companies, the corporations can decide to say, okay, let us move our goods to Lokoja. For maybe the one in Lagos can move his goods to Lokoja so that the person in Greenwich,
connect.
Yes, can connect it.
Let's connect, yeah.
Exactly. That's what we have in Lagos, in Alaba, in Oshodi, even in Suleja. Suleja's economy is, I can say, a lot of the economy of Niger State is built on Suleja. And what you have there is big warehouses where products are brought and people come to pick them. When you come there, of course, you spend money.
Thank you, Engineer Ogrima. You see, this tourism, for me, tourism can drive the economy of Kogi State. Just tourism. What we have in Kogi State, the natural resources we have in Kogi State, Cross River State don't even do. They don't have them. They don't have them. For example, I remember so many years ago, I developed a website for the Commerce and Industry, Hotels and Tourism Board. and I was
Okay.
managing the website, and people from the United Kingdom started contacting me. Do you know what they were contacting me for? They want to come to Kogi State to see the burial site of their great-grandfather. We
Of
can
course.
make money from this point. Mount Patti
Exactly.
is a very fantastic place. We can deploy cable cars we can make money from.
So,
All we need is packaging. Now, somebody on
exactly.
set some times ago talked about setting up the business hub we have talked about. A
Yes.
stopover where you
Yes.
come and you don't want to go because of the treatment you get from the government. I think this is a very fantastic one. Before I ask the last question, or let me just ask the last question. Now, you talked about not really charging these persons. Now, how can
Okay.
government improve? Because, of course, even if you are charging for parking space as a form of
Yes.
taxation,
Yes.
now, how can government improve the efficiency of its tax collection mechanism? That's the last question for today, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Of course, like we know, government sees revenue basically in terms of taxation. You know, that is how government sees revenue. First and foremost, we really need to, now that we have our back against the wall, we don't have any other choice than to dig into our IGR and see what we can make of it. The first thing I believe we should do is to look at the tax establishment, the revenue establishment as a very sensitive establishment. The way you look at security, the security architecture of a state, you know, you have to take care of the staffing and make sure that it is only people of high proficiency, good training, and integrity that you should choose to man such an office. You should look at it as seriously as you look at security. Secondly, we have to expand the database of the taxpayers. We really need to do that, and if possible, engage con- uh, consultants or people who have
Consultants.
expertise in that area. You know, there are people, a lot of them that have even developed software packages that can handle a lot. They can deploy a lot of softwares to manage the task processes. Then, thirdly, as a follow-up to what I've just outlined, we have to really integrate the task mechanism in the sense that, for example, the 21 local governments in Kogi State have area offices. You know, these area offices are more like bigger tributaries to other collection centers. You know, if you automate the process and integrate it very well, it will eliminate tendencies for maybe can I put it, mismanagement of funds, collections like that. You know, because if you no longer follow maybe hand-to-hand payment, paperwork, if everything is automated, you pay through payments, definitely it will eliminate a lot of issues in the tax regime. Of course, I also want to commend His Excellency Alhaji Ayabelo for his effort because I recall vividly that one of the things he took up was, I think he had a very good foresight on that. Even before the plunge in oil, he tried to revamp the internal revenue mechanism of Kogi State. He put a very good head there, Dr. Semi, who is a trained financial expert and both the human resources and the whole mechanism. You know, we have a very beautiful revenue office in Kogi State. So, and of course, there were also results. I think our internal revenue used to be around 300 million, which was ramped up to about a billion. And of course, we are doing very well in terms of the tax profile of the 36 states in the country. You know, we are doing better than states like Imo, Abia, Benue, and a lot of them. We are like the upper part of the middle. So, but the gap from 300 million to 1 billion shows that if we put up more effort, we can actually increase such performances. Then we also have to make sure that we have a tax incentives. You know, people have to see what the taxes they are paying are useful. You know, because the whole idea of governance of government is to the overall welfare of the people. You have to build roads, you have to provide social services, that is healthcare, schools, you know, so people have to see that their money is being used. You know, that is what I urge all government. For example, if you are taking taxes from maybe a rural farmer, a smallholder farmer, for example, you know, who lives in the rural area and has to move his goods to the urban area to sell, you know, if you are taxing such people, at least you should grade the feeder roads in that rural area, and we should also make sure that he has no problem moving his goods from the rural area to the marketplace. Because if he's able to do that, he'll be able to make some income, and he will not have problem paying his tax. So government should kind of up his game and try to really, because for me, this is number one incentive, the moral booster for people to pay taxes. If they are seeing that government is performing its statutory duty, they will not have problem paying tax to the government. Thank you very
All
much.
right, Engineer Ogrima, thank you so much. Our time is fast spent. You have really made justice. You have done justice to today's topic. I hope that when next we call on you, you oblige us with your presence.
Yes, with all pleasure. With all
Thank
pleasure,
you so
sir.
much for coming. Hope to see you
Thank you
some
very
other
much.
time. Thank you,
Yeah,
and God bless you.
God bless. Thank you.
Yeah.